So how can agile methodologies now be applied specifically to data projects?
Yeah. So I think data specific projects is typically where agile methodologies shine the most. Everyone associates it with software development for good
Hmm.
reason. But these principles and these methods can be applied to any sort of database project from like what my team is doing, development of business intelligence products, dashboards to like data engineering pipelines, automation. These could all benefit from some agile principles. So what agile does is it ensures that you're providing value to your user base quickly through iterative deployment while you're enabling a testing and feedback loop. So you're identifying bugs and future enhancements in real time. And the testing piece is probably what's most important for database projects. Data quality and accuracy are of the utmost importance. I think that these principles are built perfectly for any sort of database project, especially if it's something that's going to be viewed by a user base.
Yeah. And then would the time frame differ from, say, a software project to a data project?
I think it's that's an interesting question because I think number one, it depends on sort of your team processes, and number
Hmm.
two, it depends on the complexity of the project. I would imagine more complex projects are going to have deployments, maybe longer time periods between deployments, but it also depends on what your team is used to doing. For within Agile, there's if you've worked on a development team, you've probably worked in a sprint setting. So a sprint is like a specific period of time where you're breaking down your work into clearly defined tasks and you're trying to complete those tasks within the specified time frame. Usually it's anywhere from 1 week to a month. So like my team, we
Hmm.
run 2 week sprints. And so what you have is you have your list of tasks for those 2 weeks and you try to get them done. Now, does that mean you're deploying every time at the end of 2 weeks? You could, but you don't have to, right? You could say have a 6 week deployment cycle. And so you run 3 sprints. And at the end of your 3 sprints, you're deploying your updated version. It I think it depends. And that's the beauty of Agile is flexible, right? If you're
Hmm.
saying, hey, this work is not so complex, within one sprint, we should be able to deploy a new version. Go for it. Great. As long as you're getting through your development properly, you're getting testing and sign off properly. There's no reason why you can't do that. However, if it's a little more complex, you say, okay, we're going to spend the first sprint solely on development. The second sprint, we're going to spend on testing and any sort of feedback errors, bug fixes that we have to do, and then we'll deploy at the end of the second sprint or at the end of the third sprint. So you can customize it to your time frame and dependent on the project that you're working on.
Okay. Cool. Interesting. And then